with Mr. Moore on the first question. How can the problems with the state's retirement system be solved?
Well, I tell you, one way to not solve it was by passing House Bill 1, which was just a Band-Aid on a problem. It basically hurt local cities and communities in their fire and police protection in the way that it changed hazardous duty retirement. You know, pure and simple, the state has a lot of money that comes into the state through taxes, through the federal government. And we're not very good stewards of the money that we've been given. The reality is, we need to be good stewards. We need to be fiscally responsible. We need to put the tax dollars into the places where it will help. We have a $30 billion deficit in the retirement system. I know the teachers now are concerned that the state is going to try to borrow money from their retirement system. That isn't the answer. I think with the monies that we have now, via taxes and via the federal government, there is money there to help with retirement. But pure and simple, the way that things are going now, the way the budget is now, the issue's not being addressed. And I know my opponent's been there for 16 years, and the deficit and the retirement system has continued to grow. And has it been addressed? No, it has not been addressed.
I would disagree with my opponent. I think House Bill 1 was a first good step. You have to realize, Chris, that the world is not perfect and you can't do everything just because you say that you're going to do it. I didn't notice anything in your comment where you said how you're going to pay for it. The simple matter is that the retirement system's unfunded deficit is because of the health care issue. The cost of health care in the retirement pool has gone up and up and up as every other health care cost has gone up over the last 7 or 8 years. The other issue that's happened is that the economy has tanked, and so the assets, the investments in the retirement system have also not gained at the rate that the retirement system proposed they were going to do. For the retirees, your retirement is safe. The state of Kentucky has a contract with you that we are going to pay your retirement regardless of whether there's money in the trust fund or not. We did make major changes in House Bill 1 that started the process. We cannot, because of an inviolable contract that we have with the current employees, change their benefits or their way of retiring. We just can't do that. The law says we can't do it. So the only thing we can do is we can begin to affect how those new employees that are hired, their retirement is calculated. And House Bill 1 focuses on doing that.
What would you propose the state do to generate more revenues that have not already been discussed?
The first thing that we're going to look at is, are we collecting the revenues that are on the books now? It's critical that we have fairness in the tax system. It's critical that we make sure that revenue is doing everything within their power to make sure that cheaters are not getting away with not paying their taxes. That's the first step that the governor is implementing currently. I think you will see, and the state has already began a process, in fact the House and Senate budget began that process, of reducing the amount of expenditures. And we have a reduced expenditure plan that's inside the budget. We may be back in a special session to deal with what those expenditures are, but at this point in time, the governor has the power to begin reducing expenditures that are appropriated by the General Assembly. I think that the General Assembly, if we look at any new tax increase, if the Senate and the House can agree to any new tax revenue source, it would probably be in the form of raising the cigarette tax. Currently, the cigarette tax is about 25 cents per pack, less than our surrounding state, or the state of Tennessee. We're about 75 cents below the surrounding state average of all the other states, around the 7-state average around us.
Where does revenue come from? For government, it comes from taxes. Who pays taxes? We do. Businesses do. I will tell you, as a small business owner, and as a business owner here in Jessamine County, we are not a business-friendly state. As a matter of fact, the University of Kentucky did a study, and they said, on several important aspects of public policy, Kentucky does not do well in embracing market-oriented ideas that would improve the material standards of living in the Commonwealth. Kentucky government is very centralized in Frankfort rather than at the county or city level, inducing less control of government taxation and services and limiting incentives to competition. The centralized government at any state level comes at the cost of reducing local choice and of limiting the incentives for competition. The reality is, if we encourage business in the state of Kentucky, businesses will grow. If we actually cut taxes to businesses, businesses will grow. Yes, we are in tough economic times. And what happens with most businesses? The first thing they do is they lay off people, because that's a huge cost. We can't afford to do that. The way we have better citizens is we have employed citizens. We need to help and support businesses in this state. We need to do away with certain taxes, pure and simple. In doing so, we will raise money. We will raise taxes.
Where does funding for K-12 education rank on your list of priorities, and what do you need to do to increase or cut K-12 funding?
A lot of people would say we need to throw more money at education. I personally am against the CATS testing. I'm against CARA. The reality is schools are asking for more money and need more money. Why is that? The reality is, what is education for? Education is to produce students that will become functioning members and contributing members of society. I believe that in having served over the past years the chairman of the Workforce Investment Board, we need a collaboration between businesses and schools. It's been done in Florida, that basically you have the aerospace and the healthcare industry in Florida that has partnered with high schools to basically get high school students in the technical schools certifications and degrees so that when they graduate they can become functioning members of society. By putting more money into K through 12 isn't necessarily going to solve the problem. The issue is, are they graduating and are they becoming functioning members of society? Today, 50% of your high school seniors will go to college. Of those 50% that go to college, within 18 months, 50% of those will drop out. In 18 months from graduating from high school, you have 75% of your high school seniors that will be entering the workforce. What are we doing today to educate our students to become functioning members of society? We shouldn't be teaching to a test. You talk to a lot of teachers, they're frustrated with the paperwork. They're frustrated with the educational system. It needs to be addressed. More money is not the issue.
This tirade that we just heard is once again an indication that Mr. Moore doesn't understand the issue of education. I understand the issue of education. I understand the value of a public education. His history on the city council is that he voted against the school resource officers program. You heard about it in the first debate. Critical, ladies and gentlemen, to protecting our students. Lou Young, our superintendent, is working hard and doing a great job, and she indicated in an article in the Jessamine Journey that it was a no-brainer decision, but yet he voted against it, and he voted against it because he's not involved in our schools. We do have a business collaboration with our school district. It's called JCTC. I don't know if you've been there or not, but it is. And they do work, and we do have businesses come in. Kentucky is moving forward every year since 1992. We have moved forward in our ranking among the states based on every category that can be concerned. Kentucky and Jessamine County especially is doing a great job in moving forward. We had a long ways to go, I will agree with that. But we are making progress. We cannot make progress, Chris, if you continue to cut, and you want to cut K through 12 education. It's just not possible. In the last budget cycle, we protected K through 12 in the budget process from cuts. We did the very best we could with a limited amount of money. Public education is supported by the House and the Senate members. You don't support public education personally, and you wouldn't support public education for our citizens.
What is your vision for the 39th District 5 years from now?
Bob talks about all the bills that he has passed. I tell you, I have not passed any bill on my own. I have not passed any legislation on my own. As a city commissioner, I'm one of 5. And sometimes I am a voice, and sometimes I stand alone because I'm required to do so, to stand up for what is right, what is financially accountable. And if that is not what is expected, then I must not be a leader. But you know, a leader needs to stand up sometimes and be outspoken. We need to go in the right direction. We need community. I tell you, the spirit of Jessamine County is really confused right now. We don't know if we're a small town. We don't know if we're part of Lexington. We don't know what we are. But I tell you what, we need to understand that we are a community, and we need to come together. In doing so, our parks will be better, our businesses will be better, everybody will be much better, pure and simple.
Chris is right. I'm not going to allow local governments to pass local option sales taxes. That's one thing that the League of Cities has asked for us to do. That's one of the things that the report that he's talking about is doing. If we ever do that, ladies and gentlemen, the city of Lexington will pass a sales tax, and every one of us will pay our taxes to Fayette County instead of paying our taxes in Jessamine County. Then they'll come home, they'll want the services that they desire to have spent here. So, I am focused on providing water and sewer infrastructure to our community and supporting our public education system.